Hello everybody and welcome back to Benjamin Magnus Plays Kerbal Space Program. This is the 4th episode in this series, and the goal is going to be to make it to the moon and back with a kerbalnaut. Not a satellite, not an unmanned thingy, not an unmanned probe, but a kerbalnaut. Off-screen, I did build this spaceship because it is a little complicated, and it was like 10 or 15 minutes of screwing around to get everything set up correctly, and I will show you how it works as soon as I do something. What I kind of want to do, I don't think I'm going to have enough fuel to do what I wanted, so I was thinking about adding on another little fuel tank on top of these, just maybe a 200, if I can get them to connect correctly, which it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to. Sometimes it's a little finicky, sometimes it doesn't want to connect. Oh, see, there we go, we got that. Oh, but it wasn't on symmetry. Come on. Come on. I hope that's something that they can eventually fix, but I'm not sure if it... I think it's maybe just, you know, a foible of the game, something that you're going to have to deal with, is not always being able to connect things correctly. I mean, like I said, I've dealt with the Unity 3D game engine before, and it's easy to use, but even, like, coding... Oh, there we go. Coding and stuff like this is not the easiest thing in the world. Making sure that everything works correctly. And... oh, come on. Ah, you're a bastard. Oh, well. Doesn't look like it's gonna work, but... let's put those cones back on. Give ourselves a little aerodynamics here. Maybe instead I'll just throw on a solid fuel booster. Nah, I don't know if that'll work. It might work. Why don't we put on a decoupler there? Oh, no, take more in the center. Hopefully that worked on the other side too. And put on a solid fuel booster instead. Yeah, we'll do that. Just give us a little more initial oomph. So there's the solid fuel boosters. Okay, now I'm confusing myself again because of how these stagings work. Where are the decouplers for these? All right, I guess we'll use them. We'll try to use them, see if they work okay, but I don't know if they will. These decouplers. Oh, I didn't set those up right. It's supposed to be on this one right here. And as soon as I'm finished messing around here, there we go. I'll explain to you how this works. Sorry, I was a little lost in thought there trying to get this up and running. And the way this works is, last episode I got these fuel ducts. And what the fuel ducts do is they transfer fuel from one tank to another. And it looks a little complicated, but basically what's going to happen is all these engines are going to burn at the same time. And they're all going to pull from the most external fuel tank. So they're all going to pull from this tank. So we're going to dry up this tank and blow those off, and then we're going to dry up this tank, blow that off. Draw from this tank, blow that off, and that will leave us this tank, and then this tank as separate stages. So hopefully this works. Why do I have decouplers right on the end here? I have a feeling like those guys will go first, so let's just do it like that. Let's launch this bastard, see if we can get it up to a good altitude. What am I looking at right here? Did I hit the wrong button? Maybe I hit exit instead of launch. I think I must have hit the wrong button there. I think I accidentally hit exit instead of launch there. Oh, well, wasted a few seconds, no big deal. Just get out to the launch pad and try out our behemoth, overly complicated rocket. the bowing out to the side, doesn't sit well with me. Okay, let's launch this. Okay, it seems stable enough. It seems stable, no big deal. And we're going to keep the thrusters on a 2/3 level to conserve as much fuel as we can. Hopefully this will work right. You know, I burned through the liquid fuel on the first stage far faster than the solid fuel. And there, that happened. Okay, we're just going to revert this flight back. Oh, not resume flight. Revert flight back to the launch site, because I can mess with the staging there. And all I got to do is swap around the knocking off the first stage of the liquid fuel and the solid fuel, which is I just got to switch this one and this one. So let's just bring this one over here. So the solid fuel needs to go second. So add in a stage, the solid fuel rockets, which are, let's see, this one and this one need to go here. And I accidentally separated them out, but that should do the trick right there. So the liquid fuel ones go first, and then the solid fuel ones. Staging is getting a little more complicated with these more complicated rockets, but we are trying to get to the moon. So let's give this another shot. We have plenty of thrust to get off the ground. Not the most stable rocket platform in the world, but it should work perfectly fine for what we need it to do. Getting a good amount of lift off the ground, which is good. Pardon me sipping my coffee. It's still pretty early in the morning. The sun is just coming up here in Florida. And let's see, the first stage is about to go, so as soon as it cuts out, knock it off. Alright, I thought we damaged ourselves for a second there, but alright, we're good. I thought I actually damaged my rocket, but we didn't. We're okay. We are fine. Now, the solid fuels are going to go next. So knock those off. Perfect. Now we're pushing up into the atmosphere with these remaining rockets. Spaceship looks pretty cool, actually. I mean, not with a couple stages knocked off, it looks kind of cool. Before, it looked pretty stupid. Alright, we're gonna almost through with these, this stage. Knock those off. Alright, there we go. Now we're burning these last rockets. As we get up into the atmosphere, I want to get either more speed or more altitude before I start to turn. Let's take a look at the orbital map. I want to get this much higher than that, much higher. So back to our staging. I mean, it looks like we're doing okay on fuel for now. I would like to be able to get into a stable orbit using only this without using this stage right here, without using our last stage. I would really like to be able to save that stage for you know, getting into orbit around the moon and getting back to Kerbal and then burning retrograde to get into the atmosphere of Kerbal. Okay. Let's cut the engines, take a look at the orbital map again. Okay, that's much better. It's not much better, but it's better. Let's turn off to the side here, and as you can see, it's big-ass rocket turning really slowly. Hit to about 90 degrees and thrust back up. Oh, turning over. Kinda gotta finagle this. Finagle it into the right orbit. And again, burning at 2/3 thrust to try to... I find that to be a really good, like, midpoint between amount of thrust and there goes the last stage there. Amount of thrust and fuel conservation. Trying to get us up to a good altitude here. Let's take a look at our orbital map again. 100 and... I kind of want to get to like 150. And then maybe wait till we get to the apoapsis here, which is the highest point of the orbit. And then we'll start working on getting into a stable orbit. So let's get this up to 150,000 meters. Now, I don't know if I'm doing this the most, you know, optimal way, but this is the way I like to do it. And now what we're going to do is set up a maneuver, like right here, to get us into a stable orbit. Now, that is not the most... I might have to do 2 burns, because that's not the most efficient thing. Let's do it like this. Alright, face off. Face in the right direction here for starters. And you got to be really, really careful with this time compression, especially on this last one, because when you turn it on, sometimes the game can chug, and if you're really close to what you want to do, you might skip right past your maneuver, which can be very, very bad. It can really mess you up. Alright, we're almost to our maneuver point. Alright, let's put speed back on regular time. And as soon as it gets to about 3 or 4 seconds, I'll start thrusting up. Alright, we'll start thrusting up at 5. There we go. And we have, at this, with this rocket the way it is, we have to burn for 52 seconds, as you can see down here, to get the orbit that we wanted here. Actually, I might want to nose up just a little bit. Oh, not too much. Not too much. This rocket is a little hard to control without any, you know, like control thrusters. Basically, my rockets are built for power and nothing else. Now, I'm probably going to burn through all the fuel on this engine trying to get into orbit. I can't see my fuel in this view, but I know it's still going because I'm increasing in speed. So I know I'm still thrusting. I'm trying to keep the apoapsis here, the highest point, on the far side of my capsule, or keep on the near side of it at least, because that is the most beneficial way of doing it. You don't want to, if you try to burn on this side, you're going to be wasting fuel, basically. Now, let's thrust down. Let's take a look at our staging. I did run out of fuel, so we're going to decouple. And that's exactly what I thought happened. So that guy's gone. We're on our last stage. We're going to try to get into orbit now. So let's thrust back up. I'm hoping I can get into orbit last time I got into orbit, I had about half a fuel tank left. I'm hoping to do better than that. Better than half a fuel tank is my goal. If I do worse than that, we're probably going to abort this, have to redesign my spaceship, and try again later. But I think I'm going to be okay. We seem to be doing okay so far. Let's see, and as you can see with the little gyroscope guy down here, I am moving around, trying to keep my orbit stable. Well, not my orbit. I'm not actually in an orbit yet, but okay, we're getting close. Once you get past like the halfway point, I think I mentioned that before, it's a lot easier. The little orbital path really starts to expand quickly. We got a high orbital speed, which is good. And here we go. Should be going any second now. Should hit an orbit. Perfectly fine. Here we go. And bam, there it is. Now, obviously, we need to get into a more stable orbit. 70,000 meters or higher. If you are lower than that, you will start hitting the atmosphere and it will slow you down. So I'm going to shoot for about maybe 100,000. Oh, it's getting higher than that now. It's easy. Alright, 125 sounds good. Let's take a look at our fuel. Oh, that's great. We only used maybe, what, 15% of our fuel tank? So that leaves plenty of fuel to try to get to the moon and back. Now, the way we're going to do that is using we're going to try another maneuver. So let's cancel this one out. We're going to find the moon, set it as a target, and now what I'm going to try to do is plot an intercept course. Now, I believe the moon is going this way, and what we're going to want to do is burn when we're on the opposite side of the planet. So I'm thinking the moon's going that way. By the time I get around, I'm going to be about here, so let's try that. Let's try to set up a intercept. Oh, not bad. Actually, I was pretty close on that one. Look at that. As you can see right here, this point is where the moon's gravity starts affecting us. And if we get past this point, it means we've escaped the moon's pull. So between these 2 points right here, what we'll do is we'll burn retrograde. And as you remember from before, that means opposite the direction of travel, to slow ourselves down so that the moon can capture us and we'll get into a stable moon orbit. That looks perfect, actually. So all we're going to do is set up our inclination here so we're facing the right direction. And as you know, the little blue dot is the direction we want to be traveling for our maneuver. And I'm going to speed up time. Not going to crank it all the way up because I don't want to miss my my maneuver right here. And all these little handles basically do different things. Increase speed, decrease speed, and that's like the inclinations and declinations in different directions, basically. We'll use them all eventually. When we get close, we're gonna... We passed it, but no big deal. We'll still... Not a big deal. I always do that. I always mess up. Forget to, you know, click the button in time, but it's not a big deal. What we need to do, and as you can see, we're pushing the apoapsis, the highest point in the orbit, out. And what's going to happen is this is going to push out and out and out and get even more and more elliptical until at a high point over here, we will escape Kerbal and we'll intercept the moon. And again, I'm burning at 2/3 thrust to conserve fuel. And as you can see down here, I will have to burn for a minute. And I'm not sure if it's the best method, but for my last staging, I like to use those little rockets with a little thrust, so I'm most efficient on fuel. If you use the bigger rockets, I might only have to burn for like 10 or 15 seconds, but they just use a lot more fuel, and I just like doing it this way. If anybody if anybody watching is better at this game than I am, feel free to let me know what I'm doing wrong. Not the most exciting thing in the world, but I don't even think you're allowed to increase time when your thrusters are up. So we're just gonna have to wait this out, and it's everything's kind of exponential when you're talking about, you know, orbits in space and whatnot. As you can see, the farther I go out, the faster the distance increases. Clearly, look at that. We're already at 300, or not 300, 3 million meters. So we're getting close. And when you get close, you have to kind of really keep an eagle eye on this. I'm starting to slur my words a little bit. I'm recording for a while now, so let's thrust down a little bit, because I don't want to mess this up. I want to make sure that our encounter with the moon is perfect. And hopefully, I'm hoping to have about 50% fuel left when I'm done here. And as you can see, the orbits are starting to change a little. Thrust down. Come on. There it is. Oh. But, as you can see right here, I'm on the wrong side of the moon. I want to be on this side of it. So, thrust a little bit further, so that I am on the correct side of the moon. I want to be in the right spot. Alright, perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. So now, we can get rid of this maneuver. I have plotted an escape course from Kerbal. And we are going to make an encounter with the moon. Right here is where the moon's gravity starts to affect us, and right there is where we escape the moon's influence. So between these 2 points, what we're going to want to do is burn retrograde. And as you know from before, retrograde means opposite the direction of travel. And that will kill our speed so that the moon can capture us. So we'll align ourselves to a retrograde direction. So if we look here, I'm traveling this way, that way, kind of, you know, this way, but I'm facing that way. So that way, what happens is when I get to the right point, all I have to do is, I don't have to move at all, or orient myself, I'll just engage my thrusters and it'll slow me down, and I'll make it over here. So let's go back to the orbital map. We'll increase time a little bit for this, because, like it says right there, it'll take 2 hours and 50 minutes to get there, so we're going to have to increase this even more. You just got to be really careful with that time compression, because the game can chug a little when you turn it on and off, and you can miss your opportunity. Not there yet. Not there yet. Speed it up a little bit more. Change my orientation a little, and there we go. Now you can see our orbits are completely different than they were before. So what I'm going to do is, oh, I'm still on time compression. That's why it won't let me change my orientation. I'm going to go retrograde and start to burn. And as you can see, this is slowly starting to curve this way. And what we're going to try to do is get that to curve over to the point where it forms an orbit around the moon. And I just realized I forgot to check what my fuel levels were at. So this could be bad. Hopefully there's enough fuel to finish this burn and to do 1 / maybe 2 more to get out of the moon's orbit and to get into Kerbin's atmosphere. And again, I said it was things work exponentially when you're in space here, and see, it's working pretty well. It was moving just a little bit at first. Now it's moving a lot of it. So we're going to thrust down a little bit more. Keep burning retrograde. Keep burning retrograde. We're going to want this to curve around. We don't want a slingshot around the moon. We want to make sure we're going slow enough so we just get captured by it. Curve back on yourself. Curve back, come on. You know you want to. You know you want to, come on. Kill that speed. Slink around on yourself. Alright, that's good enough for now. And now this is our current orbit. What we're going to do is burn retrograde again when we get over here. So speed up time a little bit. How long is it going to take us? Okay, we're going really slow, so it's going to take us a long time to get there. So speed up time a little bit. Like I said, be really careful with that time compression, because you can fuck yourself really bad. Can really mess yourself up. 14 minutes. Because the game does tend to chug just a little bit. You could just skip a little bit, and if you crank it all the way up, it chugs for a second, you would have completely screwed yourself. Alright, now that we're here, I'm going to do burn retrograde again. Try to get us into an orbit. There we go. That's an orbit right there. Orbit around the moon successful. I mean, it's a highly like it's not well, it's pretty circular, but I mean, look at that. My periapsis is 290,000 meters. My apoapsis is 1.6 million. Oh, and we completed our contract. Success. Now what we're going to do is go to the staging view. Oh, look, and we have probably like 45% of our fuel left. That is going to be plenty to get home, I think. Look how beautiful that looks, too. Look how beautiful the moon is. So let's take, observe the mystery goo. The goo seems to be less dense here. We're going to keep that data. Now, can we get any other mystery goo? Who feels right at home? I don't know if these will... We're going to save that one, reset that experiment. We're going to take a crew report, definitely. You look at the surface of the moon and try to find a good landing space. The inside of the craters might be the best option. That's a lot of science there. Let's do an EVA. Let's do an EVA report. You record the observations about your situation. Look at all that science. We're going to keep that data, get right back inside there. And we have successfully made a orbit around the moon. Now, we don't actually have to complete the orbit to get that. We did complete the contract. Let's see. Achieve orbit around the moon. Transmit or recover. That one we'll get the transmit or recover science data from space around the moon when we get back and we recover the spaceship. And we should be perfectly fine to get back, too. It's worked out so well. So, let's go back to our orbital map, and now what we need to do is plot a return course to Kerbin. So let's try from here at a maneuver, and what we're gonna need to do is burn. And nope, that's not what we want to do. Let's try it. Let's try it over here, like over here. See, it's throwing me off this way, and I kind of don't want to go that way. Maybe I need to do it like way over here. Alright, that's closer. Let's try it right here. Add a maneuver. Alright, there, that'll kind of fling us in the right direction. But we're going to be over here when that happens, so it'll fling us out like that. Okay. Now, this part always confuses me a little bit. Let's set up a maneuver for, like, here. We might have to wait till we get all the way around again, but... And yeah, look at that. That's going to fling us just the wrong way. Out into deep space. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, sweet! Oh, that helps a lot. I didn't know that you could drag these around the orbit like that. Alright, there. There, that is what we want. Okay, that is so helpful. I didn't know you could freaking do that. And what we're going to do, we're going to try to do this in one burn. What we're going to do is we're going to try to achieve orbit in one burn by setting up a maneuver that'll enter us into Kerbal's atmosphere. Sounds good to me. Now, let's point in the right direction first. And we're going to have to wait 1 day. So let's speed time up. As you can see, when we get out here, our speed goes way down. Was that one? Did that really say 1 day before? And what was throwing me off a little is that I wasn't keeping the moon's orbit around Kerbal in my mind while I was trying to plot that. Alright, speed up time. Just hours gotta go by. I'm so nervous that I'm gonna, like, miss my window and fuck this up. I mean, if I don't get back to Kerbal, it's all lost. Alright, come on. Speed up time just a little bit. We're getting close. We're getting close. 19 minutes until our burn. I don't want to speed it up anymore just because I'm nervous about missing my window. Miss your window, you just have to wait again. I mean, it's not a big deal, but I don't feel like waiting around another day for me to get around the plant or around the moon. All right, we're almost there. Almost to our correct burn node. All right, put it on the right speed and let's start burning. 2/3 thrust, just like always. As you can see, already broken the orbit of the moon, which is a lot easier because it's so much smaller than Kerbal. It's a lot easier to get into a appropriate orbit, or into and out of orbits of the moon, just because of gravity. It's so much weaker here that it's easier to move yourself around. Come on. Alrighty. Now that's not exactly what I thought it would do. So let's delete this maneuver. This is our current path, and it's not taking us anywhere. So let's add a maneuver, and we want to get into. Alright, maybe I need to. I'm a little confused now. Because this is the orbit I'm on right now. Maybe if I just speed up time a little bit. Wait to see what happens. Maybe when I cross this path here, it'll start affecting me. Okay, there we go. There we go. We're okay. We're perfect. Perfect! Okay, I was just a little confused by the different colored orbital paths. It just wasn't something I was entirely aware of how they worked. Because it has been a while since I played this. So let's take this... Oh, we're in speed 2, that's why. Let's take this last mystery goo observation. Goo feels right at home here. Keep that data from deepest space. And there we go. This path we're on will take us right back to Kerbal. As you can see by the super time compression, it does chug a little when that starts to happen. And any second now, we're going to start entering the atmosphere again. Good job, Jebediah. Now, this is a long episode, almost half an hour in now, but I didn't want to break the moon episode up into different portions. But that's okay. I'm sure anybody who's watching this and is enjoying it wouldn't mind watching 10 extra minutes of me getting to the moon and back. Burning up in the atmosphere. Oh, God. Spinning around a little. Okay, we're back in the atmosphere. Look at that. Back in the atmosphere, let's... Okay, we don't want to damage ourselves, so... I'm trying to orient myself so that the stages doesn't hit me. There we go. Break off that stage so we just got the capsule left. Deploy our parachute. Oh, that went so smoothly. So smoothly. Oh, I barely had any problems. I had fuel left in my tank even. That was amazing. With that same design, I could probably land on the moon. Actually, no. I couldn't land on the moon with that design. I would have to do a bit of a redesign, but with the same basic concept, I could get to the moon and back. Could land on it. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. That would make me so happy. As I don't know if I've made it to orbit around the moon before. That's how I knew how to do that stuff. But I don't think I've ever successfully landed on the moon before. And we're back. Recover that motherfucking vessel. Let's see how we did. Oh, I'm so excited. So happy. That went perfectly. Look at all that science. 132.9 science. Look at it. Oh. Parts. Ooh. That's rough, though. Right there. That's rough. We only recovered 21.7% of the value of our spacecraft. He didn't get very much reputation for that. I expected more. I mean, I think I had about 180,000, so I think we kind of broke even on that. But we came back with a lot of science. Now, are there any new Explore Minmus. Explore Ike. Okay, those are the different planets. Plant flag on the moon. Definitely going to try that. Alright, nice. Very good. Very good. I'm definitely going to call it an episode here. We'll burn through a little bit of our science in the beginning of the next episode because this episode is so long at this point. But it was a ton of fun. I really, really enjoyed that. I'm so happy it went so smoothly. Oh, yeah. So if you have enjoyed this like I have, drop me a like, leave me a comment, and if you're interested in more daily Benjamin Magnus Plays Kerbal Space Program, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you tomorrow.